Hello, this is 1 mana left. This league is our second league with the jewel, the Adorned, existing. And even though it was here last league, there's a couple reasons it's just better this league. One of the reasons it's better is pretty much every build has another jewel socket because there's no that which was taken. So indirectly, that's an Adorned buff, even though it's a nerf for pretty much every other thing. But there's a couple other things that change this league that just make it so good. And one of them I'm going to show here in a little bit on basically cheap Hinakora's locks for Adorned Jewels. But I'm going to go over 4 methods to craft Adorned Jewels because I've been crafting these and my Adorned Jewels are very good. Like mine are very, very good. I've got some absolutely insane ones for the relative cost of my character. Like there's some Adorn POBs right now on Mana Forge on PoE Ninja that are like 10 mirrors, but my Adorn Jewels are better than theirs because I've been prioritizing that. So I'm going to show you how I've been crafting Adorn Jewels, and there's 4 different methods. The 4th one is a silly one, but I'll talk about that 4th. So the first method is fractured jewels. And that's the way I did most of these. So if you look at a lot of these, they have a fractured mod. So the way I generally do these is I pick a perfect roll on one of 4 modifiers I want. No, 5. Perfect int, perfect strength int, perfect all attributes, perfect all res with the caveat that you only need 2 or 3. You don't want all of them to be all res. You just need a couple. And then perfect mana. I search for those 5 things, and I try to take the cheapest one. I try not to take Crimson Jewels, because they have half weight on mana, which makes the rolling them harder. Unless the Crimson Jewel has mana fractured. In which case it doesn't matter if mana is rare, because, well, you already have mana. So I either look for Crimsons with fractured mana, or Viridian, Cobalt with any of the 5. And these have gone up a little bit in value, but they're like 2 div if you want to get a base. The good news is that alting a fractured base is incredibly cheap and easy. It takes like 2 minutes. It takes like 100 alteration orbs. You're just sitting there, alteration, augment, whatever, until you get the mod you want. I would say you want to go for perfect. So if I hit 8% mana, I roll over it, because it's not cost efficient to divine it 1 and 3, because you're paying on average 3 divines for something you can roll in 2 to 3 minutes. So unless you value your time at 1 divine per minute, that's not worth it. So I've been just alting over them until I get 10% mana, because it's the difference, like I said, between spending 1 minute and 3 minutes, and the alteration cost is negligible. So if you're already going to spend 2 to 3 divines on the Fractured Jewel, you might as well spend a little bit of extra effort to get it perfect. From there, I've been running my Atlas strategy this league, as I've been running a Temple. And it doesn't take me long to get a Temple. It's only 3 maps. And then I've been getting Locus of Corruption and sending them to the Double Corrupt Altar. So that's why I have a lot of them that have these really good implicits. These implicits are very powerful because they pretty much give your character every immunity. This is something that won't really show up in PoB. It's not going to increase your damage or tankiness, but it's like one of the best quality life things, and it will make your character feel so much more powerful. Because, like, if you take 2 PoBs and one of them has Ignite immune, Curse immune, Shock immune, Poison immune, Bleed immune, just every immune. Well, the list of things in the game, Corrupt Blood immune, like the list of things in the game that can screw you goes a lot shorter. So this won't up the PoB numbers, but this makes the game feel significantly easier. Because this percentage also gets multiplied by Adorned. It's not 25%. If you look here, it's 50% shock. So 2 of these is immunity, essentially. And 57 reduced ignite. So 2 of these is also essentially immunity. So that's kind of the first way, is Fractured Orb. Or Fractured Jewel, and then I've been double corrupting. You could technically single corrupt if you want to go for a cheap route. But with the current cost of the Fractured base, since the double corrupt altar is only like a third of the total cost, you might as well go for it. I'm going to show you right now the second method. And the second method is you buy a jewel that has 2 of the modifiers you want already perfect. So in this case, I searched this jewel. It costs like 60 chaos. You can find similar ones of these for a similar price probably, right now at least. And it has perfect 10% mana and perfect 8 all attributes. Whether you buy a 3 modifier or a 4 modifier, it is always 33%. It doesn't matter. Because no matter what, if you pick any one of the 2 mods you want, that's going to go one way. And then if it's a 4 mod jewel, it has a 1 in 3 chance of getting the other mod you want. If it's a 3 mod jewel, what's going to happen is 2 of the 3 mods, one of them is going to be the 1 on 2 mods, so one of them is going to be the mod you want. Essentially, think of it this way. One of them is going to get left out of the 3. So you're going to get any 2 of the same and any third left out. And it's all equal chance. So it's 1 in 3 that the one you don't want is the one left out. So I've seen people say that you need 3 mod jewels. It's actually a little counterintuitive, but it's always 33% no matter what. And the way you do this is the split beast. These are like 7 chaos, Phenomenal, Plagued Arachnid. And I hit my last 2, so that means I'm not going to hit it for the video here. So you don't want to do this one with the Black Morrigan. You want to do the 2 mod split. So let's watch me not hit this, but you get the idea. This will probably be hidden by your loot filter. So I did not hit it. I got them split separately. So in this case, this is actually not like that terrible of a jewel. Here, let's just make an Adorned Jewel. There you go, perfect Adorned Jewel. Easy. I don't know. This doesn't matter. But 1 out of 3 times you'll hit that. And the cost of doing it this way is about 50 to 100 chaos per attempt at a 1 in 3. So you can get finished jewels this way right now for a little under 2 div, which actually makes it on average a little cheaper than the fractured method. But it's kind of price dependent. If everyone bought them out, then it would be the same. So it only works if people are willing to gamble this way and there's an available supply. So this might not be as easy after the video. But on to the third. We're going up the totem pole in like level here. Up to the third way to do these. This is the synth method. So the way you want to do these is you want to buy a synth jewel. And you want to alt it until you get the 2 mods you want. You can use annuls here because they're really cheap. They're 3 or 4 chaos. So if I got mana, I'd annul for it to try to hit again. But this is a more annoying alting process. This usually takes like 10 to 20 minutes to hit. It's harder, obviously, than the fracture. With the difference that I'm not going for perfect divine. I'm literally going for any 2 mods. Because you might think, well, divining that perfect is going to be like 12 divines. Isn't that hard? It's actually not with this method. And this is how I've done some of these jewels. So what you actually want to do with this method is you don't need to hit in this case, it's a 1 in 15 divine. You don't need that actually at all. The way that makes this method economical is there's a new recipe with the Black Morrigan this league on if you use a Krayikic Chimeral and a Black Morrigan, it's apply a Hinokora's Lock to a magic item. The current cost of this setup is just over a divine. It's like 1.3 divines. And for a lot of league, it's been about 1 divine. The reason this is good is the way I do this is I manually divine it like once or twice maybe. Like this started off as an 8-13, so it was a bad roll. I divined it once, and I got a 10-15. Now, that's not perfect, but I'm not going to spend 15 divines divining it perfect. I'm going to spend just like 2 or 3 to get it to like 9-16 or 10-15. One off perfect each way is only 1 in 5. 2 off perfect each way is like 4 out of 10. So get it like close enough, just in case if you do your very first beast and you just hit the Hail Mary, you're the first beast, you go with it. Because the truth is, if I hit like res efficiency on the first beast, I'm taking it. That's better than 1 int. So the way you get your money back here, though, is because I ultimately do want the divine perfect. So I'm going to check the Vol Orb and see what that hits. But then I'm going to get a free check on the divine orb. And if the divine orb is perfect, well, then I get a free perfect divine. I don't have to spend 15. I just get it from the check. So the lock check costs just over a divine, and it essentially gives you a free divine. So you get the jewel close, and then you finish it if you don't hit it on your first couple. So like on this one, for example, I have like three jewels like this. I didn't get the corrupt outcome right away, but before I hit the corrupt outcome, I did hit the perfect divine. I have one jewel, I think, where I did the opposite, where this one, I did what I said, where I got it one off perfect. I got it to a 9/16. And then I hit the poison mod on, like, the second or third beast lock. At which point, it's like, well, do I want to spend 15 divines? No, because for that price, I could just start over and craft an entire other jewel. So, in some cases, you'll hit a good outcome in the first couple, in which case you save a lot of money. And in the cases where you don't hit it in your first couple, like on these, I get a perfect divine in the process of doing it. So I'll just show you what this looks like. So I have the Gilded Fossil mod on here. That's important to do before you alt it. And I'm going to do the Hinocor's Lock effect and just show this here. I'm going to spell lock correctly. I play Path of Exile, I don't spell. Alright. So now I get the Hinocor's Lock. So the first thing I'm going to check is I'm going to check the Vol Orb. And the gem turned to dust, okay? Then I'm going to check the Divine. I went to 16 hit, but I lost mana, so we didn't get the perfect Divine. And I'm going to finish with the Blessed Orb, in which case I probably have to Blessed it twice. I think you always Blessed it twice, because I think it has to change, so it's always two Blessed Orbs. So, you pretty much go through this, and just take however many attempts to get this. It's usually only like 5 attempts, and they're like 1.3 div, but this is how you get a very nice jewel. These are like 20 to 40 div jewels. So we're going to check the Vol Orb, Fertile Mind. 9/16, I'd actually rather have 10/15, but that's close. And then I'm going to double up. Boom, boom. And, you know, I'll try to finish it. Hopefully this doesn't take an absurd amount of time for the sake of the video. But you kind of get the idea. While I'm wasting time getting unlucky on this, I'm going to talk about the fourth method. Because I'm not going to be doing the fourth method for the video. See, this is a plain Jane hit, which I want the implicit. I'm going to spend the money for the implicit. Didn't get it. And that's the boring method. But it's the highest roll method. It's the old method. It's the bird prison. That hasn't really changed this league. The way to get the absolute nicest Adorned Jewels, chances are if you're doing this method, you don't really need a guide. It takes an absurd amount of currency to do this. And that is, you come to the menagerie with a triple synth jewel, and you end up doing Vivid Vultures and Kraikix until you get like a 3 synth implicit item. With the Gilded mod fossil. Then the only thing that changes this league versus last league when people did this is this league you still use the Hinocor's Lock Beast. Whereas last league you had to spend like 40 div on a single Hinocor's Lock, and it was terrible. This league it's much easier because you just spend 1 div on the blue beast lock thingy that I'm doing here. There's one more thing probably worth noting on this method, and that's because my implicit right now has a roll range. So the implicit has a 4 to 5 roll range. That's kind of crucial for this, because if you have an implicit you really want but there's no roll range to it, that makes this method much more expensive. Because it means if you miss the Vol Orb and you miss the Divine Orb, you have to Divine it to get the lock effect off, which is very expensive and probably will brick your perfect Divine. So you end up either like re-divining it perfect, or it's just bad. Check this. Man, okay, this has been an unlucky run here. Mineral. All right. See, they know I'm doing a video, so they're not gonna give it to me. I don't think I've taken more. I had one jewel that took like 8, but so what I'm using here is the 4 to 5 int roll. I like int in this build. If you absolutely do this with a mod that has no roll range, you're kind of screwed. So this method really only works if the mod has a roll range of 2. If you can do that, this works and it's cheap. If not, then whatever. I'm hitting this. Technically, I only have so many beasts. So if I run out of beasts, then that's the end of the video. Ah, that's good, isn't it? Here's the thing. If that hit the other mod, I'd do it. Or if I had a 16 int divine, I'd do it. That's tempting. I'm going to roll over it. I know I'm being picky, but if I was just starting off, I would have taken that 100%. And if you guys are just starting off, I recommend you take that. But I am going for like I said, my Adorned Jewels right now are already very nice. So for this to be an upgrade for me, it needs to be just like a little nicer than that. That's like the absolute best that I wouldn't have taken. I haven't got a perfect divine either. Well, I've only got so many of these. Krakic, Black Morgan. This might be the last one. If it is, so be it, but like I said, normally this takes about 5 to hit something usable. And I would say that was, attempt 6? I would have called that something usable, if not for the fact I'm going for a really nice one right now. Alright, I'm out of Blackmore. So this is the last attempt. Let's do reverse roll. Let's check the divine. Not a perfect divine. Alright, do I finish on a win? I finish on a neutral. Okay, well, that's a bit unlucky for the video, but you get the idea. Adorn is really powerful this league. I think this league, it's probably better for most mana stacker setups. It's probably better for basically every build in the game. If you apply this same logic to if you need a, percent life, 16 strength jewel. If you need 7% life, 16 strength, everything I said applies the exact same way. Change int to strength, change mana to life. It all is the exact same. So if you're crafting like energy blade jewels with Adorned, it's the same concept. But I'll catch you next time, and I'll probably hit this jewel the second I turn camera off here, turn video off. But see you guys next time. Darn it! I didn't hit it in 8. Didn't hit it in 8. Shit. We'll hit it here, don't worry. Do I have any chaos? I think I'm pretty chaos broke. I'm very chaos broke. 7 tries. That's good. Yes, it is a Path of Exile build, therefore it uses Mage Blood. If it was a Diablo 4 build, there's like a 95% chance it doesn't use Mage Blood because it's a Diablo 4 build, but it's still probably not 100%. But if it's a build in Last Epoch, it's probably like 98% chance it does use Mage Blood. If it's a build in Path of Exile, then it uses Mage Blood. Alright. Well, now that the video's done, I'm gonna hit it, right? 10 crit is nice, but wrong mob. There's the perfect divine. Okay. Beautiful. Should have had that in the video. What if I just cut the video and just kept playing it and then talked like the video was over and included that in the video to show me hitting the divine?